multiple chances, and I blew it. And she needed to put up a boundary to protect herself, and that was absolutely the right thing to do, and I'm grateful to her for doing it. It was towards the end of that 74 days at sea, including over Christmas and New Year's, I think, that I got to a point where I just wanted the pain to end. Uh, yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but my hatred for myself, self-loathing, the shame for ruining yet another relationship with such an amazing person, the fact that my career I thought was being affected, I descended into a hopelessness and a level of self-hate that I convinced myself, my mind convinced myself that my friends and family would be a much happier place in a world that I no longer existed. I really wanted so badly for this pain to end. One night while off watch, I took a full bottle of some over-the-counter meds, hoping to go to sleep and never wake up. Fortunately for me, I was shaken for the long middle watch, the mids, and woke up. I was sicker than I'd ever been in my life. I was able to go on watch, but I was sprinting out of the ops room, into the heads, the toilet, every 5 minutes to hurl at my guts. I guess things settled out after that, continued my duties at sea, but still, in depression. Once we got alongside to our first foreign port in Jebel Ali, the United Arab Emirates, I reached out to my best winger, my best friend home in Canada. He was also in the Navy. He later told me that I was making very alarming statements. At the time, I was Officer of the Day, which is lead for the duty watch while alongside in foreign port. As such, I was armed with a weapon as part of the ship's force protection. I carried a loaded 6-hour handgun, and I guess I talked about using it on myself. I don't remember this, but my friend clearly does. I am so grateful to my friend, to my battle buddy, because he knew many of the officers on my ship, and he took a risk. He reached out to them to explain that he was very worried about my mental health and suicidal ideation. The chain of command and the doc became involved and took the decision to redeploy me from the Middle East back home for medical support. This only made the shame grow. I'd failed the ship, I'd let them all down, career was over, but I had no choice. This is where I really saw the power of my addiction, how I'd do anything to protect it, my access to my drug of choice, alcohol, my first love. I returned to Canada and reported to the Navy hospital. I was truthful about my depression. In reviewing those medical notes from almost 25 years ago, it revealed how all of that insecurity, that sense of unworthiness, that self-hate that I'd been stuffing and just stuffing down and medicating for with booze, self-medicating, exploded in this wave of depression and hopelessness. I shared with the doc and with the mental health professionals how I felt. I was failing my family, how I'd let my shipmates down. I felt I would never be happy again, and that I wanted the pain to end. It was like my brain had turned against me and turned all of my insecurity into reality. Looking back from a place of health, none of it was true. But I believed deep down that I was a horrible person, not worthy of happiness, success, good things in life. In reality, I was sick. While I said I was truthful about my depression, I lied my ass off about drinking. When the psychologist asked about my alcohol habits, I was like Homer Simpson. Do I drink? Oh, I enjoy a snifter of cognac around Christmas time. When in fact, while not at sea or not on duty, I was drinking daily to self-medicate for the pain and the insecurity